can be calculated by P into Ns divided by 120 degree. Okay, so how we can achieve this frequency? We have seen in the last session that this Ns can be equal to Ns is equal to 120 F divided by P. Okay, from this expression we have find out the frequency. So frequency can be calculated by rearranging this equation. So this is P into Ns divided by 120, and this is the frequency for this is second frequency. How we have calculated? We will put the value for this Ns. So what is Ns? Ns is the synchronous speed. So how we have calculated synchronous speed? Synchronous speed is equal to speed of the synchronous speed minus actual speed. So what is the actual speed? So speed of the rotor. So this is called a actual speed. Okay, this is the called actual speed. So we will put the value for this Ns. Ns is a synchronous speed, or we will put right here, and we will find out the second frequency. Clear? So this is for stator, okay, and this is for rotor. Okay, we will find out the ratio in between these frequencies for second and the first part, and we will achieve the F2 frequency. F2 frequency is F1 Ns minus Nr divided by Ns. So this is called a slip. So we can find out the frequency 2 is equal to S into F of 1. Okay. So have you understood this? How we have calculated these two frequencies of stator and rotor part? Quickly give your response. Quickly give your response. This is for stator. Sir, repeat one. Okay. So Pankaj is saying, please repeat again. Let's see from the beginning. So we are going to calculate the frequency for first and the second part. First is the stator part, second one is the rotor part. Okay. So how to calculate this frequency? We know that the synchronous speed Ns is equal to 120 F divided by P. We can rearrange this equation to find out the frequency. So if we want to find out the frequency, then we rearrange this equation and we will achieve P into Ns divided by 120. But P is the number of pole, Ns is the synchronous frequency, 120 is the angle apart between each phase. Okay. Now this second frequency, how we can calculate? We will put the synchronous speed formula right in this equation. So what is the synchronous speed formula? So it is the speed of synchronous speed minus the speed of the rotor, or which is called a actual speed. Okay, which is called a actual speed. So we will put this value into this equation and we will rearrange this equation. Okay, so by putting all the values right here, so in this manner we can find out the frequency, second frequency. After that we will find out the ratio between these two frequencies. Okay, so this is Fr, R stand for rotor, S stand for stator. Okay, so rotor upon stator, this is for rotor. Okay, this frequency for rotor and this frequency for stator. Okay, so we will find out the ratio between the rotor and stator. We will multiply these two equations right here. All those equal part will be cancelled out and we will achieve the ratio between these stator and rotor part is Ns minus Nr divided by Ns. Okay, and we will rearrange this equation. This complete formula become a slip. Okay, so how we can represent it? F2 is equal to S into F1. So this is the formula for the frequency, second frequency. What is the second frequency? Second frequency is called a rotor frequency. What is the first frequency? First frequency is called the stator frequency. So this second frequency is equal to slip into first frequency. Okay. Any doubt till now? Quickly give your response. Quickly give your response. Okay, so most of the students saying that no doubt. Now come to the next point. So we have calculated the frequency for stator and rotor part. Now we will find out the rotor current frequency. What is the current frequency? We have calculated this NR. Okay, so this NR is called a current frequency. Okay, so if we consider rotor in a stationary position, then this NR is equal to 0. Okay, and we know that slip is equal to Ns minus Nr divided by Ns. Okay, so if you put the value of this actual speed equal to 0 right here, then they are cancel out. Ns and Ns will be cancel out and slip become equal to 1. Okay. So when Nr is equal to 0, then S is equal to 1. Okay. Clear? Now we want to find out the frequency, this F2. F2 is the rotor frequency. So how you can calculate this rotor frequency? So rotor frequency is equal to S into F1. Okay, we know that S is equal to 1 in case when this rotor actual speed of the rotor is equal to 0, then this F2 become equal to F1. Okay, so both the frequencies, if both the frequencies are equal, then no rotation. Okay, understand? If the rotor part frequency is equal to the stator part frequency, then there is no rotation, or vice versa. We can say that if rotor actual speed of the rotor is equal to 0, then all the frequencies are equal. Okay, have you understood this part? Quickly give your response. Quickly give your response. Understood? Okay. So now the next point is this rotor speed is equal to the synchronous speed. Second point is, this is the first point, when actual speed of the rotor is equal to 0. Now come to the next point. This is the second point where your actual speed is equal to the synchronous speed. If we put the value right here for this NR, we will find out that the slip is going to be equal to with 0. Okay, so if your synchronous speed and the actual speeds are equal, then your slip is going to be equal to 0. Okay, now if you want to find out the frequency for this rotor part, okay, then we will put the value for this slip, then frequency is going to be equal to 0. Okay, so F2 is 0 right now. So we can say that if your actual speed of the rotor, actual speed of rotor is equal to synchronous speed, then there is no frequency. Okay, so have you understood this? Quickly give your response. There are two cases: when rotor is at 0 position, then second case when rotor speed is equal to the synchronous speed. Okay, so when this rotor speed is equal to the synchronous speed, then there is no frequency, slip is 0. In the first case, slip is 1. Okay, sir, no frequency will lead to no rotation. No frequency leads to no rotation. Yes, Pankaj. Quickly give your response. Any doubt till now? Quickly give your response. Any doubt till now? Okay. So In both cases, there is no rotation. In both cases, there is no rotation. Yamini is asking a question. In both cases, there is no rotation. You right now you will see right here. Okay, if rotor speed is equal to 0, that means these frequencies are equal. Okay, and rotor is not rotating. Okay, the second point is that when rotor speed is equal to the synchronous speed, then slip is going to be 0, and though there is no frequency right here. Okay, so let's understand when this rotor is going to be rotated right here. When this ns is equal to 120 f divided by p, we know that slip is equal to ns minus nr divided by ns, and frequency, if we want to rearrange this equation, then we achieve nsp divided by 120, and nr is rotation of this rotor is equal to 1 minus s, and we have achieved that f2 is equal to s into f1. These all formulae we have already derived. Okay, now come to this point, how this rotor will rotate. Okay, so this is the concept, Yamini. Understand this. If you take this nr actual speed less than this ns, then we achieve this. And if we take equal these actual speed and synchronous speed, then we will, okay, this rotor will not rotate at this point of time. Okay, understood, Yamini? Right here, if your actual speed is less than the synchronous speed, then you will get rotation. Okay, if your synchronous speed and rotor equal, then you will not get any speed. Okay, or we have represented it by phi. Phi is a phase. So how you can achieve a phase? When rotor is in a rotation. Okay, understood, Yamini? Okay, now come to the next point. Here we have taken some notation. So PG is called input power. Okay, so this is a three-phase supply connected to the stator part. This outer part is called a stator. Inside this there is a rotor part. Okay, and these three-phase bindings are provided to this stator part. Okay, so when this magnetic field will be induced right here, so uh, what is the principle behind this? What is the principle behind this? When any current carrying conductor placed inside a magnetic field, it induces a force. So it will induce a force right here, because there is also some conductors are placed inside this rotor. Okay, so it produced some forces right here, and this rotor is going to be starting. Uh, this rotor is going to be rotated right now when forces are applied to this part. Okay, so this rotor will rotate with the nr speed. So what is nr speed? Nr is a actual speed. What is this ns? Ns is a synchronous speed. So what is synchronous speed? Speed of this part. Okay, outer part. Clear? Speed of this rotor is the inner speed. So here we have calculated frequency f2. F2 is the frequency for this rotor. And what is the frequency for f1? F1 is the frequency for this stator part. Okay, so we have considered this PG as an input power. So P is equal to F into V. We know that this power is can be calculated by force into some velocity. Okay, so we can represent this PG by Ws into Td. Okay, what is this Ws? Ws is the rotation omega s. What is omega? 2 pi f is the omega. Okay, so Td is Pg upon Ws. Okay, so this is a torque developed. Td represent right here as a torque developed. Okay, so how you can measure the torque? Torque is the total power, input power, divided by the frequency. So you can rearrange this equation. Okay, you can rearrange this equation. You will find out TD is equal to power, inputted power divided by the angular velocity of that rotor. Clear? Quickly give your response. Have you understood all these terms? These terms are already explained in the previous slides. We have explained these terms right now. Have you understood how we can achieve the dual torque? Okay. Okay, come to the next point. So we know that this the input power is equal to omega s into TD. So how you can represent omega? Omega can be represented by, so omega can be represented by 2 pi ns into TD. Okay, clear? So this is PMD is a mechanical power developed. So now how you can represent this PMD? PMD is, have you understood till now? Quickly give your response. So you can put this mechanical power developed right here. So omega r can be represented by this one. Okay. So we know that the inputted power is 2 pi ns into TD, where mechanical power developed is equal to 2 pi nr into TD. So there is slight difference right here. We are writing ns and we are writing nr. So nr is a rotor speed right here. Okay, and this ns is a speed of your stator part right here. Okay, so this speed is at your stator side and this speed is at your rotor side. Okay, now we will consider there are some losses are also present uh, in the motor. Okay, so this PRC is a copper loss, and how you can achieve this copper loss we know very well. This copper loss can be calculated by inputted power minus, so minus this PMD, mechanical power developed. Okay, so inputted power minus mechanical power developed is equal to the copper loss. So we will put the value right here. So we know that this PG is equal to 2 pi ns into TD, where this PMD is equal to 2 pi nr into TD. Okay, so we will solve this equation. So we will take the common factor out and we achieve PRC, copper loss, is equal to 2 pi TD. TD is a torque dwell. NS is the speed of your stator side and NR is a speed of your rotor side. Okay. And we will find out this equation using the PRC divided by PG. We will divide with this inputted power. Okay, and we rearrange these equations by dividing all the equal parts. Okay, and we achieve this power copper loss is equal to slip power into inputted power. Okay, so this is the derivation for power. Okay, for copper loss. Have you understood this? Quickly give your response. How we can achieve the power? Quickly give your response. Have you understood? Quickly give your response. Yes, okay. So now, okay. So this is the main formula right here. So how you can calculate this PRC, okay? And we can rearrange this equation to find out multiple formulae from these equations. Okay, so how you can find out this using this by putting this value of inputted power right here. So but what is this PG? PG is, we know that this PG is equal to mechanical power 12 plus copper losses. Okay, and we rearrange this equation, and we will find out this equation as power for this RC is equal to S upon 1 minus S into PMD, where S is the slip. Okay, so we can use this equation also for calculating this PRC. Okay, quickly give your response. Can we move further? We have derived the formulae for Pg upon PMD, means inputted power divided by the mechanical power developed equal to 1 upon 1 minus S. S is the slip. Okay. And we have also derived the formula for copper loss, this PRC, power for copper loss, divided by mechanical power developed is equal to S upon 1 minus S, where S is the slip. And we have also developed the formula for inputted power. So inputted power, just we have rearranged this equation, nothing else we have done right here. So 1 upon 1 minus S into PMD, where PMD is a mechanical power developed. Okay, so have you understood how we have achieved these three formulas from these previous derivations? Quickly give your response. Okay, so now come to the next point. We will derive another expression for torque. So for deriving the expression for torque, we have to understand the internal mechanism of your stator and rotor part. Okay, so when you represent your stator internally, you will find out there are some resistances, some inductances, and we can draw the circuit diagram like this. Okay, so this is the internal body structure for your stator circuit. Okay, so outer body having some resistances and inductances due to their internal wiring. Okay, so we can represent this circuit for the stator diagram. So let's suppose that some current I0 is flowing right here. Okay, I0 current is flowing right here, and in the winding side there is some current flowing. Okay, so that current is somewhat I. Okay, I mu we have represented right here, and some current is flowing across the resistances of that winding, so that we can represent it as IW. Okay, so we have to calculate the total current. So total current can be divided into I0 into I mu. So I0 is a working. Okay, so it is a core loss also, and there is a magnetizing across these winding. So here we have connected in this winding, and this current is flowing through this resistor. Okay, so when you pass some current through these windings, so this magnetizing forces will be produced right here. Okay, so we can calculate the reactive power right here, and in across this register we can find out some core losses also right here. Okay, so have you understood this stator circuit diagram? Quickly give your response. Can we move further? Quickly give your response. Okay, now rotor circuit. So rotor circuits, let's understand this is a rotor circuit. So in the rotor side there are some winding and some resistances from the materials. Okay, the conductor material which you have used, that has some resistance, and those winding which are placed inside that rotor which has some inductance, right, which is represented by S into X of 2. Okay, and some current I2 is flowing through this winding. Okay, and some voltage ES2 is generated across these two outputted terminal. Okay, clear? Now let's understand this. So let's say that initially rotor is in standstill condition, means there is no frequency or no supply or no rotation is there for the rotor. Okay, so we will consider that E20 is in the locked or blocked stage. There is no voltage right here because it has zero speed. Okay, now the inductance across this rotor, how you can calculate? So when you will pass some current through this inductor, let's suppose this is L. So how you can calculate the inductance across this inductor? Quickly, we have seen this type of inductor in the previous session also. Quickly give your response. Some current is flowing through this inductor. So how you can find out the voltage drop right here? Quickly give your response. I into X of L. Okay. Okay. So how you can represent this? We can represent this by omega. Okay. So omega into L2. So let's suppose that this is L2. So we will put the value omega into L2, and omega is represented by 2 pi f, and we have taken f2. So we know that f2 is the frequency for the rotor. Okay, this is the rotor frequency. That's why we have taken 2 in every notations of these symbols. Okay, so second, this 2 represent for rotor, 1 represent for your stator. Okay, so this impedance Z20 is, we know that when you calculate the impedance across this inductor, we know that this impedance Z is equal to R plus X, J into X of something. Okay, so this is the impedance value for across this inductor. Okay, so we will put the values for this current. How you can calculate the current? I is equal to E voltage upon impedance. So we will put the value right here, and we will calculate this power factor also. Okay. So have you understood this? How we can calculate the current across this rotor part? Quickly give your response. How you can calculate the power? So power can be calculated by cos of phi. Cos of phi is equal to R upon impedance. Okay. So this is the impedance part. Quickly give your response. Okay, so now come to the next point. We have explained this rotor part. The frequency F2 is equal to S into F1. EMF ES2 is equal to S of E2 at slip S. Okay, when slip is equal to 1, we know that F2 is equal to F1, and this when slip is equal to 0, F2 is equal to 0. Okay. So Gautam Harish is asking a question. Sir, please show the previous slide once. So what is your question, Gautam? What is your question? Quickly give your response, Gautam. Okay, now come to the next point. Gautam is clear. So in this slide, we are just giving the notation that how this rotor is represented internally in a circuit. Okay, internally this has some binding, so we can represent that binding by this L, and internally this rotor has some resistance due to their conductor part, so we can represent that by R2. Okay, so we know that frequency across this rotor is equal to S into F1. We have derived this expression previously, and when this slip is equal to 1, that means this frequency, both frequencies will be equal. Stator plus rotor, both frequency will be equal. When this slip is equal to 0, then frequency F2, rotor frequency, is equal to 0. Okay, then what is this inductance value right here? So inductance value can be represented by omega into L. So we can represent omega by 2 pi f into L2, and this is represented by S into X2. Okay, any doubt till now? Quickly give your response. Can we move further? Okay, here F2 should be F1. Where? Gautam, where? F2 equal to F1 into S in X2. last part. Okay, so in this part you are saying this. So this is not for the stator. We will consider F1 for stator part. We will consider F2 for rotor. Okay, we are talking right here for the rotor part. So rotor frequency is F2, whereas stator frequency is F1. Okay, Gautam, have you understood why we have taken F2? Then why we wrote S? S is the slip. Okay, voltage, how you can calculate this EMF or voltage? EMF is calculated across this rotor. E2 is the rotor side. Okay, so it is E2 into S. So S is the slip. Okay, so clear? Okay, so Gautam is saying that he understood. Now come to the next part, torque of an induction motor. So how to calculate this torque? First, we know that this loss in the rotor or copper loss or copper power is represented by PRC. We have seen in the previous derivation also. So this loss in rotor, or we can call it as copper core power right here, is represented by PRC, and this PRC is equal to 3 into I2 square into R2. So why we have taken 3 right here? We are talking about 3 phases. Okay, so that's why we will take the 3 right here. Why we have taken I2? We are talking about this rotor part. Okay, that's why we have taken the current across the secondary side. So power can be calculated using I square R. Okay, this PRC copper losses, we know, we have seen this derivation in the previous session also. So power can be calculated by I square R. This copper losses can be calculated for the power is equal to I square R. Okay, for 3 phase we consider this 3 right here, and for the rotor side we consider the notation as 2. For the resistance we consider the notation as 2 for the rotor side. Have you understood how we have written this power across copper core power? Okay, quickly give your response. Have you understood? Okay, so now come to the next point, current. So how you can calculate current? V is equal to I into R. So I is equal to V upon R. Okay. So in this case, the voltage is considered as E2, or we can consider it as EMF. Okay. So this V is considered as E. Okay. Why? Because we are talking about EMF right here in case of rotor. Okay. So that's why we will take this E2. And in case of total resistance, this resistance, we will consider R and L part. Both these two parts are present in this rotor. Okay, that's why we will take this impedance Z. It is the combination of these two components. That's why we are talking about Z. So that's why we will take this Z2 right here. Okay, so Z2 is the impedance across this rotor part. Okay, so we will put the value. We know that this secondary EMF or this rotor EMF is equal to S into E to 0. Okay, so what is S? S is a slip, E to 0 is a EMF across this rotor side. And what is the impedance Z2? Z2 is equal to Z2 is equal to, we know that impedance can be calculated using this formula. r square plus xl square. So what is xl? xl is taken right here, s into x to 0 ka whole square. Quickly give your response. Have you understood this part? Okay. Now come to the third part. We have to calculate the power, okay, or copper core power, okay. So how you can calculate this copper core power? We will put simply these values right here. So what is the value for this I2? We have find out this byte value right here. We will put this value right here and we will solve this equation, okay, and we will find out the power across this inputted induction motors, okay. So quickly give your response. Till this point, have you understood how we have calculated? Just we have find out the values and we have calculated this power equal to 3r2 s into e2 ka square divided by r2 ka square plus s x to 0 ka whole square. So we have just rearranged these formulas and we put these formulas in this equation and we achieve this power as 3r2s e2 0 ka square divided by r2 square plus s x2 ka square, okay. So after that, we will rearrange this equation and we will find out this torque delta 3 TD. So we will put the value for K is a constant term. So 3 divided by 2 pi ns is a constant term and we put that constant term is equal to K and we will achieve this torque delta equal to R2. R2 is the resistance of rotor, S is the this slip, E20 is the EMF across the rotor, R2 is the resistance secondary, this rotor resistance, okay. So X20 is the inductance across this rotor part. So have you understood how we have achieved the top equation? Quickly, sir, but is Gautam is asking a question, sir, but is N in K? N in K, 2 pi n. So when you represent this 2 pi n, omega is equal to a 2 pi n. Okay. So this omega is an angular speed. Okay. Gautam, understood? Angular speed. Omega can be represented by this. Have you understood this? Gautam is confused somewhat. Let's understand from the previous. We have calculated this power, okay. So how you can represent this power? Inputted power can be represented by omega s into TD, okay. And you know that this omega can be represented by 2 pi ns, okay. Omega can be represented by 2 pi ns, okay. So ns is a synchronous speed right here. Quickly give your response. So we have just rearranged this equation, okay. TD is equal to PG divided by 2 pi ns, okay. Okay, clear. So this is the derivation for torque, okay. We have completed the derivation for torque and this is the conditions when starting torque slip equal to 1. then what happen? Rotor is in the zero position when maximum torque upon. Okay, so these values will be put into the steady equation, and this is the maximum torque value. Okay, and we have drawn the characteristics. This is the characteristics for your slip and torque. You will find right here, when your torque is increasing, your slip is also going to increase. Okay, so when this slip is equal to 1 in this position, you will find out the maximum torque in these positions. Okay, so below this slip, all the values are high. When slip going to be equal to 1, then all the values going to be decreased. Okay, quickly give your response. Have you understood this graph? So this will complete your three-phase as well as single-phase induction motor. Now, from next lecture onward, we will start DC motors. Okay, from next lecture onward. So if you have any doubt, you may ask your doubt right now. Those who have no doubt, they may leave the session now.